CTV News with Sarah Freemark.
Cold day in Canada is usually defined as temperatures below -20. We've had 8 of those, guys. Last year we had 3, and the year before, none.
There doesn't appear to be any relief in sight as the region deals with the continued cold and snow. Thanks for joining us. We're dealing with an unusually frigid winter here in southern Ontario, and as the dangerously cold temperatures continue, a new issue. City crews are coping with challenges like how to keep the roads clear when it's too cold for salt to work. CTV's Rob Cooper explains.
If you've noticed your drive around the city of Barrie has been a little bit slippery and a bit more bumpy this year, you wouldn't be alone. Moffat's Mazda in Barrie says it's seen quite a few vehicles brought in worse for wear because of all the snow and ice-covered roads.
It's not a smooth surface. The plows just aren't cutting down as hard as they were before, and it just seems it's leaving a lot of snow on the roads. You'll get little areas that kind of dry up, break down, and it does create like a winter pothole.
The city of Barrie says snow clearing crews have been busy trying to keep up with all the snow, but the recent freezing temperatures and a shortage of salt across the province has forced them to approach things a bit differently this season.
Yeah, drivers should be prepared to see more snowpack on the roads, at least until the near future when we hope to get more salt, but or the temperatures warm up.
Weather experts say that's not going to happen for some time. To be clear, salt loses its effectiveness when the temperature hits -10. So the city has been forced to take a different approach to try and give drivers a better grip of the roads.
We tend to be moving more towards sand salt mix on our primary and secondary roads. So you may see more road pack, snowpack on the roads.
Environment Canada says don't expect any kind of break from the frigid temperatures anytime soon.
We could have 25 straight days in a row with freezing temperatures. I mean, that is something that is just unheard of.
Dave Phillips with Environment Canada says most of the snow this season has been lake effect snow. Open water on the Great Lakes has taken its toll on the region, and until those bodies of water freeze over, we should expect more of the same snow accumulation.
The cold is going to help to freeze the lakes. However, the bad news is that it makes it look like a landscape, that lake, and it just increases the cold.
Despite the squalls, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says ice cover is actually greater than normal. As of tonight, the 5 Great Lakes average for freeze-over sits at about 43%. That number is higher than normal, but far from record-breaking. With so much open water still on the lakes, the experts say to expect more snow in the coming weeks. Rob Cooper, CTV News, Barrie.
Let's head to Toronto now, as the city is still digging out from the record-breaking snowfall, and we're learning there's still a lot of work to do.
First, I had to make sure it was my car, because who knows under all that snow. But so far, we've only been at it for 5 minutes, and we're tired.
We will continue plowing nonstop, and we won't stop until the job is done.
City officials are warning the cleanup could take several days and are asking residents to be patient. The city promised to be more proactive with snow removal after criticism that followed a heavy snowfall last February. Meantime, snowplows have been out in full force in the Maritimes, Quebec and Eastern Ontario as a massive winter storm brought heavy snow and strong winds to cities like Halifax, Ottawa and Montreal. That's just to name a few. A number of school boards also closed in the Maritimes today. Well, as many as 50 vehicles were involved in collisions on Highway 401 today, with hazardous conditions making driving in that area difficult. Police say accidents occurred between Quinte West and Napanee. They add that there are no reports of serious injuries, but police also say that snow-covered lanes and reduced visibility resulting from snow squalls are leading to hazardous driving conditions. People that are stranded have been brought to local arenas. Let's focus on our region this hour. Case, boy, it's coming down.
It's coming down. It's a snow globe out here. It looks peaceful, looks calming, but and it is substantially chilly and comes with some warnings, and I want to get to them right now. As far as Environment Canada goes, this, ladies and gentlemen, the area in yellow, and you see it encompasses a good deal of our area, pretty much everywhere except York Region. It is a snow squall warning, anywhere from 15 to 30 centimeters of snow tonight through tomorrow, and a blowing snow advisory. Now, the winds aren't howling too bad right now, but we're anticipating that to pick up as the evening progresses. And let's progress now with a first look at the forecast, brought to you by, there we go, Pressler Injury Law. Call 1-800-JUSTICE. -11 is where we're sitting right now on the temperature meter. And winds are out of the west. They're light for the time being, 13 kilometers an hour. The gust as high as about 40, even 50 K a little later on this evening. This is a look at the temperature where you are, -11, all without, of course, the wind chill. -11, he says, in Newmarket, -11 in the Sunshine City of Aurelia, -11 in Mount Forest, -12 in Parry Sound, and -9 in Owen Sound. This is the radar satellite images, and yes, increasing ice across the Great Lakes and southern Georgian Bay, and but there are still some open waters, and so there is still some lake effect snow. This is looking like some lake effect snow, what we're achieving right now. However, coming up, in the near future, we're going to be talking more about the temperature than we will about the snowfall, although it's coming down pretty good right now, Sarah. How cold it's going to get, all that coming up in just a few minutes' time. Bundle up.
Thanks, Case. Now, with all that snowfall, we asked you to weigh in on our CTV News poll. The discussion whether the city of Barrie should start an expensive windrow removal service. That's those large piles of buildup at the end of your driveway after the plow goes by. And the results show strong opposition. Nearly 200 people responded, with 55% saying it's too costly and complicated for the city. 32% were in agreement with it, while 13% were unsure. A rollover in Barrie's south end sent one person to hospital late this morning. Emergency crews were called to the single vehicle crash near the intersection of Yonge Street and Little Avenue. One person was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The road was shut down for more than an hour for the cleanup and investigation. No word at this point on any cause or charges. Pushing to hit the 1 million mark in the city of Barrie, not in population, but in the number of people that come to our region for all it has to offer. CTV's Luke Samard brings us more on the push to become a year-round attraction.
Throughout 2025, there was 998,199 people that stayed overnight in Barrie.
What do the numbers mean? Barrie is a four-season destination.
Have done a really great job of targeting the sport tourism industry and getting the local sport organizations to convert their one-day tournaments into two-day tournaments to turn them into a sport tourism event.
The numbers from Tourism Barrie show it's not only sports that are attracting people. From Centennial Beach to the General John Hayter South Shore Centre, more than 650,000 people visited the waterfront.
The downtown Barrie, of course, has done a fantastic job with their events. They added 2 new events this year. Attending downtown Open Air Dunlop and the Troubadour Festival, 25% of them are from out of town, over 40 kilometers.
With residents also choosing to spend their time and their money locally.
I spend most all of my money downtown. I buy downtown. I buy from the boutiques. I eat in the restaurants, the Il Buco. This one here, the Dunlop Street Diner.
Being able to walk downtown and have a pick of a whole bunch of restaurants is wonderful.
And we love to go to the markets on Saturday as well and get all our vegetables and things there too.
Hotels also seeing an increase in traffic this year.
People are coming from the south, well, Toronto, in the GTA, they're coming from the north above, and they're coming from the U.S. Different reasons of travel for everybody.
Barrie has more than 1,100 hotel rooms, with most hotels sitting at 70% occupancy.
They're coming down to watch the Colts play. I see folks come in from the north that are here to go shopping. This is a center jump-off point for, I've met a group of women that used to all be police officers. They've been friends for 20 years, and they're coming here just to get together and have some girl time.
3 brand new hotels are scheduled to open this fall in Barrie, including Lennox Drive, Mill Street, and Brine Drive, bringing an additional 400 hotel rooms to the city before the winter tourism season begins. Luke Samar, CTV News, Barrie.
Georgian College is teaming up with the Canadian Nuclear Association to help train the next generation of nuclear workers. The college has become a member of the CNA, opening up more opportunities for apprenticeships and training in the nuclear sector for students. It isn't about developing a specific nuclear technician program, but teaching a myriad of trades involved in the building and maintenance of nuclear plant industry-specific skills. The school says the partnership means more kids from around here getting into these new highly technical jobs.
It means more opportunities for apprenticeship, for co-op, for placement, and then ultimately what we're looking for is graduate opportunities for our students. But it's not just about our graduates, it's really about the needs of the sector. It's a growing sector. We're hearing about investments almost on a weekly basis in nuclear in Ontario, and so the demands are very significant.
Nuclear energy is quickly becoming an important sector in our province, with more government spending directed to the development of nuclear technology. We now have an update to a story that we've been following for the past year involving an Orillia area financial advisor who recently pleaded guilty to defrauding customers out of nearly $2 million. CTV's Mike Arsulides reports.
Convicted fraudster Kevin Dowse has been permanently banned from working as an investment advisor by the Canadian Investment Regulatory Organization. They found Dowse, while working with Quadris Investment Services in Orillia, misappropriated and failed to account for funds obtained from clients and failed to cooperate with an investigation by the regulatory organization staff into his conduct. The Cero panel fined Dowse more than $500,000 and ordered him to pay another $30,000 in legal costs. The sanctions followed a hearing held over 3 days in late November, when Dowse failed to show up for the start of the proceedings and did not call any evidence in his defense. Dowse told the panel he devastated many people and will continue taking responsibility for his actions to keep working to make restitution as he struggles to survive financially. Dowse, who is 41, pleaded guilty in September to defrauding 25 clients, many of whom were longtime friends and loved ones, out of nearly $2 million between 2016 and 2023.
I'm crushed that he would do this to me.
Shortly after his arrest in early 2025, clients told CTV News they thought Dowse, who worked for a now defunct Orillia-based company known as Wealth Inc., was investing their money. The Cero panel heard Dowse ask clients to personally write him checks worth tens of thousands of dollars. He'd then deposit the funds into his bank accounts and use the money for himself without their knowledge. The regulatory organization noted Dowse is not currently registered in the securities industry in any capacity. Dowse is scheduled to return to criminal court next week for the start of his sentencing hearing. Mike Arsulides, CTV News, Barrie.
CUPE and the Ontario Council of Hospital Unions are calling on the province to increase health care funding. The unions say hospitals have been told to plan for 2% funding increases until 2027 into 28, far less than the 6% average in recent years. They say it will result in more than 10,000 job losses and the reduction of 2,400 hospital beds.
This government promised to clear the surgical backlogs, and this government promised to eliminate hallway medicine. But in fact, both of those problems have intensified significantly.
Last week, the Ontario Hospital Association told the Ford government the sector faces a $1 billion structural deficit and needs a more predictable multi-year funding plan. Prime Minister Mark Carney is holding firm to his highly regarded speech to the World Economic Forum in Davos, despite claims by a Donald Trump insider that the PM aggressively walked back some of his remarks in a phone call with the U.S. president. CTV's Mike LeCouture on the war of words between the two leaders.
I meant what I said in Davos.
Prime Minister Mark Carney stood by his speech during a phone call with U.S. President Donald Trump. The 30-minute conversation covered Arctic security, Venezuela, and Canada's agreement with China.
I explained to him what we're doing, 12 new deals on 4 continents in 6 months. He was impressed. And that what we intend to do going forward, as well as the opportunity to of course, move forward on CUSMA.
Let's talk about the Prime Minister, or if you prefer, Governor of Canada.
12 hours earlier, the U.S. Treasury Secretary says he was on that call and characterized the conversation differently.
He spoke to Prime Minister Carney, who was very aggressively walking back some of the unfortunate remarks he made at Davos.
Asked specifically about that.
So you didn't walk back your comments?
No.
But there was no public readout of the conversation between Trump and Carney, something the Conservatives are criticizing. Michael Chong wrote on social media, "It is unacceptable that Canadians and journalists learned of this recent call from American media." Besson's comments come days after Trump threatened to impose 100% tariffs on Canada if the government signs a free trade agreement with China, something Carney says he's not pursuing. Political analysts believe the current strategy is to keep calm.
Trump is going to make noise. He's going to flash. He's going to swear. He's going to stamp his feet. Just take a breath, take a moment. Chances are the storm will pass, and it has.
The Prime Minister says he reiterated in his conversation with the President that Canada is responding to the change in U.S. trade policy by building new partnerships abroad, including with China. And Carney says Trump understood that. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford was asked today about what President Trump's threat of 100% tariffs against Canada could mean for our province.
It'd be a disaster if he did that, but I got to remind President Trump that just Ontario alone, 9 million Americans wake up in the U.S., and I love the American people, by the way, and they love Canadians, wake up to produce a product, a widget, a service for Ontario. It would devastate their economy. We're the #1 customer in the entire world. We buy more products off the U.S. than anyone else in the world, and vice versa. They're our #1 customer, too.
Yesterday, the Premier met with the PM for the first time since Ottawa announced its plan to allow 49,000 Chinese-made EVs into the Canadian market. Now, Ford did say that they're on the same page and are taking a Team Canada approach. Today is International Holocaust Remembrance Day. Survivors visited the Auschwitz concentration camp memorial site to commemorate the 81st anniversary of the liberation of the Nazi camp. The former prisoners laid flowers and wreaths at the execution wall, also known as the Wall of Death, where German forces fatally shot thousands of people. About 6 million Jews and millions of others were killed by the Nazis during the Holocaust. Prime Minister Mark Carney spoke at a ceremony in Ottawa this morning.
Today we remember the consequences of ignorance, of hatred, and complicity. Today we acknowledge that looking away is not a passive act, but an act of betrayal. The responsibility to confront anti-Semitism belongs to all of us. That responsibility begins with remembrance.
Let's look now to the 2026 Winter Games. They're less than 2 weeks away, and the Canadian Olympic Committee is already looking ahead to the next decade of sport investment in this country. The COC says its Team Canada 2035 strategy aims to make our country a top 5 nation in combined medal count from the Summer and Winter Games. The committee says more than $500 million in private investment will be spent on sport over the next decade. The goal also includes getting 1 million more young people to participate in organized sport.
We're 10 days away from the opening ceremony of the Milano Cortina 2026 Games, and we thought no better time than to launch Team Canada 2035. What's not often understood is that we are largely privately funded by 39 marketing partners, so the likes of Lululemon, Bell, RBC, Canadian Tire, our premier national partners. And we are committing $500 million over the next decade in this long-term strategy. It's founded on 3 pillars: podium, play, and planet. We do great to put athletes on the podium, but we're doubling down to get better at it.
The COC adding the goals were developed in consultation with the Canadian sports system and will be delivered in collaboration with national sports organizations. Next on CTV Barrie, upgrades 140 years in the making. Why even the type of wood is being reinvented on board this steamship, and when we can expect to see her out again. Plus, who says camp needs to be during the summer? How these local students are learning leadership skills right in the elementary school classroom. Stay with us. That's next. First up, as we take a peek around the region, the benefits of Tim Hortons Camp Day were brought into the classroom this morning at one of our local elementary schools.
Can anybody remind me of things that we were working on yesterday? We'll start with the big buzzword. Do you remember what that one was?
Connecting with people.
Yeah, connections. Wonderful.
That's the grade 5 and 6 classrooms at Holy Family Catholic School in Alliston, as students there took part in a camp-style leadership experience through hands-on activities made possible by the Tim Hortons Foundation.
Raise your hand if you speak a different language other than English.
The communication skills is huge because technology has become such a big part of our life, and a lot of us have just missed on how to actually communicate with each other and learn from each other. So taking this time to communicate with each other of different forms of communication, so body language, non-verbal communication, and how we can just speak to each other in a more professional and polite way.
Since its inception in 2024, the Tim's Classroom program has brought elements of the foundation camps into schools to offer leadership tools and a confidence boost for those that may not have experienced it otherwise. The Seguin of the Muskoka Steamships line has been on the waters of Lake Muskoka for almost 140 years, and now it's getting a little makeover. Built in 1887, the Seguin is undergoing its most significant renovations in 50 years. The top deck of the ship has been removed and is in the process of being rebuilt by local tradesmen who are installing new safety and mechanical components too. Now, the $2 million project involves the replacement of an enormous amount of new wood with a very special purpose.
We're trying to lighten the ship at the top of the vessel, so we're using a lighter wood, more rot resistant, weather resistant, things like that. So she'll be stronger and she'll be more resilient. Hopefully it'll last the next 30 or 40 years until we have to do something like this again.
The 139-year-old Seguin is due to be back on the water by Labor Day weekend of this year. It was a special graduation in Innisfil on Monday night. No problem for these pupils to fetch a diploma.
Thank you so much.
This is Paws and Boots on the Ground's class of 2026, which helps turn family pets and teen volunteers into therapy dog teams. While the pups are learning the skills to become good therapy dogs, these kids are learning to become handlers to support the work.
Emotional support and helps with mental illnesses to help soothe people and calms them down.
They need to be calm. They need to be pretty confident because they're going into different situations, and they might, lots of seniors' homes have resident cats there, and they might run into some other people's dogs there. So they really have to be able to pay attention to their handler and remain calm, and also be able to do what the handler is asking them to do under distraction.
Aren't animals the best? Now that they've graduated, the real work begins, heading into nursing homes, hospitals, schools, and libraries, giving a little bit of comfort where it matters the most. As always, if you are looking for additional information, perhaps you'd like to re-watch one of the community events that we shared during the 60-minute newscast, all that can be done at ctvnews.ca/Barrie or scan that QR code on your screen. Still to come, an 11-year-old competitive skater from Barrie is lighting up the small screen when you can catch Ella in action. That's in just a few minutes, but right now let's head outside. Case.
Would you believe that it is going to be colder across our region this evening than it will be in Yukon territories? Yes, that is some kind of cold and getting colder. Take a look at our Weather Watcher artiste and you'll see that, oh yeah, Jensen says no better place to be than the tube run at Snow Valley. Cooler in more ways than one. You're watching CTV News Barrie.
Picture this, brought to you by Bounce 104.1 and Pure Country 106.
Nothing quite like building a snowman. Thank you, everyone, for showing us how you are embracing this winter weather. Keep those photos coming. Picture this at ctv.ca. Now, Case, I noticed a number of people that were skating outdoors, and I'm sure you appreciate the difference between a nice, smooth, man-made rink and when you get out on the, let's call it rough, very, very rough outdoor homemade rinks. We flooded the pond behind our house growing up. My dad was out there with bucket after bucket, and you have to be careful because when you catch an edge, you go flying.
Yes, you do. There's a potential for injury, that's for sure. But there is nothing that compares to skating on a lake. On a safe lake, shallow or thick ice, shallow water, thick ice. Going for a skate on a lake, it is absolutely magic. If you ever have the chance, check it out because it is so much fun. Is there a possibility some frozen lakes in our area? Oh, yes, there is. And have a look at this. They're snow covered right now because this is a snow squall warning in effect. And as you can see, it encompasses the better part of our region. Yeah, certainly the western portion, Grey Bruce, working away over Dufferin County, all the way to Simcoe County, and making it right on up to Muskoka. Not quite Parry Sound. I don't believe it's up to Parry Sound. And we're looking anywhere from 15 to 30 centimeters of snow tonight through Thursday, and blowing snow advisory as well to keep so keep that in mind, although the wind isn't howling too badly right now. How about the wind chill as we speak? We're looking at a wind chill factor of minus 18 in Parry Sound, minus 17 in Alliston, minus 17 in Newmarket, minus 19 in Toronto. Dig it out! And looks like minus 18 in Collingwood. This is the almanac for today, and I want to draw your attention to 9.4 degrees way back in 1879. No one remembers that, but 9.4 degrees, just under 10. That must have been a balmy day for those walking around trying to keep warm. Minus 33.3 in 1927. Yesterday's record for cold was 1927 as well. 2 days in a row, 1927. Not a whole lot of records set, weather records in this area, 1927, in my experience anyway. 7:41 it rises, 5:22 it sets, 9 hours and 41 minutes of daylight. Roll that for, oh, there, he's already doing it, Adam. Thank you very much. And this is what we're looking at as far as the snow squalls. Yeah, 15 to 30 centimeters of snow and more, ladies and gentlemen, on the way, along with some very, very cold temperatures. Minus 25 this evening, wind chill, southern tip of Georgian Bay Lake, Simcoe, anywhere from 10 to 25 centimeters of snow coming down this evening, expected as per Environment Canada. Winds gusting as high as 50 out of the northwest. Tomorrow we're looking at minus 10 for the high. Flurries and squalls an additional 5 centimeters. Change in wind direction 20 to 40 out of the southwest. This is Orangeville, Bradford, Georgina, Newmarket, Richmond Hill, minus 24 with the wind chill this evening, anywhere from 2 to 10 centimeters of new snow this evening. For tomorrow, minus 10, minus 11. Peak of sunshine, yeah, fair skies in the morning and then snow into the afternoon. No set accumulation as per Environment Canada. This is Parry Sound, Huntsville, Bracebridge, Gravenhurst, Halliburton. Minus 28 with the wind chill, risk of frostbite. Okay, yeah. Flurries, squalls this evening, no set accumulation, blowing snow. And minus 10, minus 11 for tomorrow, 5 to 10 centimeters of snow expected under mainly cloudy skies. That's tonight, and tomorrow it gets colder. Where? In the Diamond and Diamond Lawyers 5-day extended forecast. Let's have a look right now. And this is Simcoe County. And this is a high on Thursday of minus 13 overnight, low minus 25. Fair skies, 60% chance of snow. On the Friday, a high of just minus 15. Sun and cloud and a 40% chance of flurry activity down to minus 21. This is all, of course, without the wind chill. Saturday, bright and sunny, minus 12 for the high and minus 7, a little milder, on the Sunday under sunny skies. 5-day extended forecast York region. Have a look. Thursday, sun, cloud, slight chance of some flurry activity. Overnight low minus 23, so very chilly at night. And then Friday, there's a peak. Well, there's more than a peak. That's the big, beautiful sun in the sky, minus 13. That's a crispy, cold day, that is. And then Saturday, the advent of a little cloud cover, minus 13 for the high. Sunday at this point, which happens to be the first day of February, sun and cloud, and a high of minus 6. Muskoka, Parry Sound, Halliburton, Thursday, sunny and minus 14 for the high, minus 25 overnight. So we're really getting very chilly. And a minus 14 for the high on Friday. Sun cloud, we'll call it fair skies. Slight chance of some flurry activity. It looks like it clears out on Saturday. Sun and cloud, minus 11 for the high. And sunny skies, nothing but sunshine for the first day of February in the northern part of our viewing area on the Sunday. Minus 6 for the high. Perhaps you could go for a skate on a lake in the northern part of our viewing area. That sounds like fun. Sarah.
It's getting tough to see him out there through all that snow, my goodness. Now, it is not every day a Netflix series is filmed in Simcoe County, and even more unique, the local athletes that had the opportunity to take part and break through the third wall.
They built a rink to train champions.
The drone that was flying around me, like, it sounded like it was so loud.
Just to see her put herself into that environment for me was like pretty cool and made me pretty proud as a coach to be like, hey, you know what? This kid's got something.
11-year-old competitive skater Ella Burley from Barrie didn't hesitate when she was offered the chance to grace the screen in the series Finding Her Edge, but quickly learned there's a lot going on behind the scenes.
It was pretty weird because I had to like step on the ice, and like the people who were there, I had like blankets that are laid on top of me and stuff, and the people had to duck behind the boards so they weren't in the scene. And I'm like when I was skating back, I'm like, where did they go? And they came out from under the boards and they're like, that was so good.
Putting themselves in those uncomfortable situations, but making themselves look comfortable. That's all part of competition and training and performing, right? So it was neat for them to be able to put themselves in an environment that they wouldn't normally get that opportunity to do and see if they can still sort of perform under that kind of pressure.
The Netflix series is out now, and if you look closely, Ella's not the only local skater to be found. A handful of Simcoe County rising skating stars shine on the small screen. The 55th annual Juno Awards will be held in Hamilton next month, and we now know who the nominees are. Here's CTV's Andrea Case.
Backflips. He may have first caught our attention when Kamloops, BC's Cameron Whitcomb auditioned on American Idol, but now he is a Juno nominee. Yep, he is no quitter. The first-time nominee heard his name 5 times this morning, including for Breakthrough Artist of the Year and TD Fan Choice Award, as well as Country Album of the Year. But leading the pack, Justin Bieber is an 8-time Juno winner already, but never has he had 6 Juno nominations in 1 year. Hold on, hold on. His single Daisies is up for Single of the Year off the album Swag 2. He will also vie for Artist of the Year. Could Tate McRae be any hotter? The former Calgary-born dancer tied the Biebs with 6 nominations. Best Single, Sports Car kicked off her Album of the Year contender, So Close to What. Daniel Caesar already has been announced as a performer, and he may pick up a Juno this year. He is nominated for 4 trophies, as is The Weeknd. Fill my head with all these sounds. The Junos will be hosted by comedian, actor, and singer Mae Martin from the TD Coliseum in Hamilton on March 29th. Andrea Case, CTV News.
Still plenty more to come, including attracting new physicians to the area, how the addition of 2 new robots is boosting the region's largest hospital. We'll be joined by an RVH orthopedic surgeon in the CTV Barrie studio next. Time now to recap our top stories. The city of Barrie says snow clearing crews have been busy, but the recent freezing temperatures and a salt shortage have forced them to switch between salt and sand. Clear salt loses its effectiveness when the temperature hits -10. Throughout 2025, there were 998,199 people that stayed overnight in Barrie, making the city a 4-season destination. The numbers from Tourism Barrie show it's not only sports that's attracting people. From Centennial Beach to the General John Peters South Shore Center, more than 650,000 people visited the waterfront. And convicted fraudster Kevin Dowse has been permanently banned from working as an investment advisor, but by the Canadian Investment Regulatory Organization. The Zero panel fined Dowse more than $500,000 and ordered him to pay another $30,000 in legal costs. The largest hospital in our region is changing how orthopedic surgeries are done thanks to a new addition to the team, surgical robots. Joining us now in the CTV Barrie studio from RVH is Dr. Ryan Perlis, orthopedic surgeon. How cool is this?
I mean, I love it. It's the occupation, the job I chose. And, you know, we primarily deal with people with various bone and joint diseases, with things like joint replacements and broken bones. So it's really great.
Did you ever anticipate working with robots?
Early in my training, no. But I was very lucky to be able to be robotically trained with a fellowship in my last years of training, and it's really changed the way that I think about doing joint replacements.
So you did your first surgery with the 2 robots on Monday. Their names are Rosa and Stryker, is that right?
Mako is the name of the robot. Stryker is the company that...
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was that like having them in the operating room with you?
It's definitely a different dynamic. I mean, as I said, luckily enough, I've done a lot of them previous to coming to RVH, but I think it's great. I mean, everyone was really motivated to make it work, and the operating room ran smoothly. And yeah, it was a total success. We did 2 cases on Monday, another 2 cases on Tuesday, and another one yesterday, so we are up and running.
How does working with the robots change the process? Does it make things faster? Does it make it more precise?
It definitely makes things more precise. Traditionally, knee replacements, for example, have been done where we cut the bone and take all the arthritis out in a very systematic but unified way. So no matter if a patient is bow-legged or knock-kneed, we would do the same thing. And then after that was done, we would balance the knee and all the soft tissues accordingly. The robot allows us to actually do the opposite. So we actually do the latter first, and then we don't have to do any of the balancing afterwards. So it allows us to see what a patient's anatomy is like beforehand, make the cuts extremely accurately and precisely, and so we don't have to do all that soft tissue work afterwards. And so it's a much more of a personalized anatomy.
How do the patients react to that? Do they like the idea that this robot's going to be joining them in the surgical suite?
Yeah, I won't lie. Like, patients have asked me if I'll be sitting in my living room doing the surgery, but I can assure you that I am not. We're still fully responsible and fully in control in the operating room. But the robot itself, it's a robotic arm, and it's really all about improved patient care. And what it allows us to do is get patients up and moving faster. They often require less physiotherapy and get discharged from hospital faster, and really allow them to get back to all their activities sooner.
I understand more is on the way. Can you tell us? Do we get a sneak peek of what's to come?
Well, that's the hope. We're very lucky at RVH, where we have a committed team to technology and a surgical robotics program. And so outside of orthopedics, disciplines such as urology, general surgery, gynecology also have robotic surgeries that are available to them. And so it's our hope to expand this robotics program to that. And that's really where we rely on our donor support at RVH. You know, the first robots in orthopedics were all driven by our donor support. And so really it's something that we can't replace, and we're extremely thankful for. And it's really exciting to have a community that's committed now for the future.
Very exciting. Thanks very much, Dr. Perlis. Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, we've been speaking with orthopedic surgeon Dr. Ryan Perlis from the Royal Victoria Regional Health Centre. Now, we do have a heads up to bring you tonight. For those who enjoy pizza pops, you may want to check your freezer. There's a recall. It's been announced just before Christmas over possible E. coli contamination. We told you about it then, but now it's expanded. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says several varieties are affected, including 3 cheese pepperoni, pepperoni and bacon, deluxe, and 3 meat. General Mills, which makes pizza pops, says it is working with retailers to remove potentially affected products, and it urges customers to throw out items or return them to the store for a refund. In business news, 3 of the world's biggest tech companies are facing a landmark trial this week. Meta, TikTok, and YouTube are accused of deliberately harming children and getting them addicted to their sites. In the first jury trial of its kind, the companies will answer to charges that they contributed to the youth mental health crisis. The companies dispute the claims, citing numerous safeguards they've added over the years. They also maintain that they aren't liable for content posted on their sites by third parties. Jury selection action starts this week in Los Angeles Superior Court. Moving right into the markets, the TSX was up 3 points, the Dow was down 408, and the Nasdaq was up 215. And commodities oil was up, closing at $62.39 a barrel. Gold was up, finishing at $5,082 an ounce. Our dollar up, ending the day at 73.42 cents US. Needed to catch my breath there. The Toronto Maple Leafs are looking to snap that 4-game losing streak as they host the surging Buffalo Sabres tonight.
Picked off and brought back by Brock Nelson. Nelson moves in and shoots, scores!
The Buds have lost all 4 games on their current homestand, being outscored 18-8. They're 6 points out of a wild card spot. Meanwhile, the Sabres have won 3 straight. One of the greatest accomplishments in hockey history will be celebrated tonight at that Leafs game. In February of 1976, some of you will remember Darryl Sittler racked up 10 points in a game with 6 goals and 4 assists. That record still stands today. 50 years later, the Leafs will have special experiences on and off the ice tonight to mark that anniversary. And we got to talk about this. You probably caught it. The Leafs forward, William Nylander. He's been issued a $5,000 fine after the camera caught the injured forward giving an inappropriate gesture from the press box during Sunday's game. Nylander has since issued an apology. Still to come, getting a big assist from a hit TV show. An Edmonton-based company is seeing a surge in business thanks to Heated Rivalry, the TV show. You're watching CTV News Barrie.
Hi, we're Martin and Steph
from Bounce 104.1.
And this week on this show, we are giving away some mystery concert tickets.
So make sure you're listening weekdays from 5:30 to 10 for your chance.
Here's a look at your primetime lineup. Riddled with Deceit, a Martha's Vineyard mystery starts at 8, followed by Criminal Minds at 10 p.m. and CTV News Barrie at 11. A pair of men in Edmonton say that the hit show Heated Rivalry is giving a product that they created 10 years ago new life. They've seen a resurgence in sales for a piece of hockey equipment they modified with color in an effort to make the sport more inclusive. CTV's Nicole Lampa has more.
Chris Wells and Jeff McLean opened the door a decade ago, introducing hockey to rolls of rainbow-colored tape.
Pride tape came out of a research question I had 10 years ago was why are young gay male and bisexual boys dropping out of organized team sports at much younger ages than their heterosexual cisgender peers?
The Edmonton Oilers were the first in the NHL to support the initiative. Soon after, the rest in the league asked for roles. Then Pride Tape's makers had to stick-handle the NHL's short-lived attempt to ban it 2 years ago and briefly saw a jump in sales. Now they've scored in the international market with orders coming in at an unprecedented level. Thanks to the worldwide success of Heated Rivalry, a fictional Canadian gay romance show about star hockey players.
We've actually been seeing sales follow the trend of where the show is going. We're seeing more tape being sold at a time, and we're seeing it more globally.
They say sales are up 40%, recently receiving 3 bulk orders from Germany and sending boxes to UK's Elite Ice Hockey League for Pride Week.
We see a lot of players using it in warm-up, and then a lot of teams will also tape the top of the goalie stick and use that in the game as well. So we're hoping to see it used a lot.
The makers of Pride Tape are also hoping to see it used in the hit show.
We're in conversation with the folks at Crave about partnerships. Who knows, maybe in season 2, Pride Tape might make its debut in an episode.
The pair also hope the mission they set out on 10 years ago doesn't go away.
Despite having Pride Tape, we still don't have an NHL athlete, player, present or even in the past that has come out.
Nicole Lampa, CTV News, Edmonton.
Casey Colby, it is almost time for you to come inside, out of the snow and the cold, but not before. Get up and go.
Let's have a look. Get up and go forecast. What's it look like? Well, it looks like a little snow. How about a little snow in Barrie? Yeah, a little snow in Barrie to start things off. Looks like minus 16 at 7 o'clock in the morning. Cloudy with a chance of some snow at minus 16 in Newmarket. And finally, pretty cloudy skies, fairly cloudy skies. Minus 21 first thing in the morning. Have yourself a fantastic evening and a better tomorrow, Sarah Freemark.
The day couldn't get any better. Thank you to everyone at home that took the time to join us tonight. I'm Sarah Freemark, and Jack Morris will be on the desk tonight at 11. Take care out there.